Now, let me turn to a colleague which needs no introduction, Valdis Dombrovskis. I mean, obviously, Valdis, you represent the European Union. You have been front and center. You have been an amazing colleague at the G7. You always bring wisdom to the table, and certainly a lot of leadership that has helped us achieve a big agenda. I'm sure colleagues would like to hear from you today about the Ukrainian investment facility, which is going in that direction in terms of everything that the EU has done in order to facilitate business investment, de-risking, addressing, sometimes what I call the first mile, the last mile in some of these projects to make them easier to achieve. So with that, Valdis, I just want to say on behalf of all the colleagues also here, but also at the G7, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the leadership of the EU. And thank you also for President von der Leyen and her words today, because, you are at the center of the efforts and everyone is grateful for you. So Valdis, my friend, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, François-Philippe. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here to this year's Ukraine Recovery Conference in Rome. And maybe allow me first with a couple of more general remarks. Obviously, it's important that we continue to provide all necessary financial and military support to Ukraine. So that's what we need to focus on as European Union, as our G7 partners, as European financial institutions, because we see that Russia's war against Ukraine continues relentlessly. So financing needs, unfortunately, are growing again, and we already had earlier meeting with the Finance Minister Marchenko to discuss, in a sense, how to cover those financing needs. It's worth noting that European Union is by far the largest international donor to Ukraine. So far, we have mobilized some 165 billion euros of support for Ukraine. Just today, we are disbursing another 1 billion euros under our macrofinancial assistance program, which is our contribution to the G7 era loans initiative. We must acknowledge the Italian G7 presidency leadership actually championing this and making sure that this G7 era loans initiative becomes a reality. And I'm glad that now all G7 partners are contributing and disbursing to this program, which is backed by the revenues from immobilized Russian assets. So in a sense, Russia is already paying for the damage it is creating in Ukraine. The question is obviously that when we are discussing about Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction, it's not only about the public funding which we can provide, but also indeed how do we mobilize private investment. And one of the first topics is the question of insurance, war insurance, but also more broadly insurance coverage in Ukraine, because clearly many businesses perceive investment in Ukraine right now as a risky one. So having insurance at reasonable terms, that it still keeps those projects commercially viable, is very important. And actually, 2 years ago at the Ukraine Recovery Conference in London, EBRD was launching a pilot scheme exactly dealing with those war insurance issues, and there are other elements like this. And then indeed we are working a lot through our European financial institutions, because they are the ones which can leverage this public finance, our public guarantees which we are providing as European Union, to then provide funding to the private sector both in Ukraine and also to investors interested to invest in Ukraine. And there I would like to indeed commend both the EIB and EBRD for your very strong engagement and active role you are playing in supporting Ukraine and financing also private investment in Ukraine. And obviously in this recovery, reconstruction phase, that is what will be increasingly important.